hitbox. Hitbox. Dev Fred, what are you doing? Oh, I'm trying out my new hitbox. Dev Fred, that's not a hitbox. Well, it's a box and I'm hitting it, right? Dev Fred, stay tuned. Rick Sanchez joins the fight. Batman joins the fight. Skeletor joins the fight. Dead Fred joins the... No, wait, guys. I'm not in the Smash Brothers. Anyways, guys, welcome back to the channel. Or welcome for the first time, new Deadheads. So today we're taking a look at a unique device, a hitbox. I hadn't known what a hitbox was, or a leverless arcade stick, until recently, but we had one kindly sent to us from Amazon. So again, this was provided by Amazon. They have not seen this ahead of time. They don't have any input into my opinion here, but let's get going. All right, Deadheads, before we dive in, let's go over a little of the specs here. Again, this is from Haute, I think they're saying their name right, Haute42. This does have a Raspberry Pi, you can see here, built into it. So it's pretty cool. The Raspberry Pi is an awesome little device. It does have very low latency. It's using Kali low profile switches. It has that extension port web configuration, so you can actually configure this over the web. It's got the hot swappable switches like your mechanical keyboards, your M121 customized keys, and it does have RGB. And again, it is just a beautiful device at an amazing, remarkable price. I'm still kind of just overwhelmed by all the stuff that you get, even though this is my first experience with one of these types of leverless joysticks. And you can see here you can remove the caps, you can remove the mechanical switches and switch it out. And it does work with a variety of different platforms. It is, again, something that I have not had a lot of experience with, so this is a very noob review of this thing. You can see here on the tech specs, you got your turbo, your OLED screen, you got your M1 and M2, which is something some of these don't have, I've learned. You've got all your buttons, of course, and then an extension port on the T13. It does work with Windows, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, Raspberry Pi, Mr. Android, Linux, iPad OS, Mac OS, and Windows. So for Xbox Series S, X, and for PS5, you'd have to use a Brooks converter. That's something else I'm learning about that I didn't really understand, so you will have to use those for that. But it does have the X input mode, the switch mode, PS3 mode, the PS4 mode, the keyboard mode. This thing is 940 grams. It doesn't weigh very much, doesn't feel very much. It's a nice size. It is wired. It is overclocked. It's got multiple SOD cleaning modes, whatever that means. Again, I'm learning about some of this. Turbo, the web configuration sounds awesome, although I haven't used that quite a bit. Anyways, let's take a look at this thing and see what I think. Okay, so Deadheads, as I stated, I really was not familiar with what a hitbox was. But now that I've had a little time to spend with this, I actually can see the appeal of this in many different ways. So this is the Haute42 the T13. And there are several different iterations or versions of these sort of products from Haute42. This one right here is the upper mid-range one, and it has a lot of quality of life features that I think are really nice. The surprising thing is that this thing is running under $80. So for under $80, you can get a super awesome, authentic arcade joystick sort of feeling with your retro gaming, your arcade gaming, your PS and Xboxes, with some little caveats here about compatibility. It also has this neat little, OLED screen right here that can kind of show you different information, such as if you're an X input, D input, or whatever kind of input you're in. These buttons are clicky, and they feel just like something you would expect to feel in an arcade. So I really like the way that this feels. I like the way that these buttons sound. I really just think that this is, like the name, a hitbox. It was a little weird to me to try to use this at first, not having a joystick. But you know, once I played with this quite a bit, I started to get just a little bit more comfortable with this. Again, it's a bit of a change for me, not ever having used one of these. So I do see the appeal now of this. I think maybe having leverless is actually good because it's more flat, portable. You really can, once you learn this, it's like the mouse and keyboard on the PC. Once you get comfortable learning and using it, this thing just feels really good. These buttons are caps that do come off. You can replace the mechanical switches that are below it as well. And you can see that it has some nice RGB lighting. We do have some additional buttons up here. We take a look. Let's just zoom in here a little bit. And so we do have a start and options button, a back and share button. We have a home and a PS button. We have a touch button, an R3 and L3 button right there. And then of course we do have our USB-C right here that will plug into whatever device you're plugging in. The other end of it is A. And then we also have an additional USB port right here. On the other thing I really like about this is the acrylic layout of this. I really like the way that this thing looks. I've seen other people open this up and put a back cover underneath this to really make this thing look awesome. I'll leave a few pictures in the descriptions. And then on the back here, you can see that it really does have a really nice look to it. You can see the switches here on everything. It has a nice finish to it. It does have your input modes here, so if you need to change between the different input modes, it's written right back here. There's also a really helpful manual that comes with this that some people have actually printed underneath here. So again, this thing, it screams super premium. I would expect this thing to be more than $100, but the fact that this thing is under $80 is just really amazing. Again, the caveat being that this is a different style, a different way of playing your arcade games or your retro games or your PlayStation games, and it does take a bit of an adjustment. Now, since this is my first experience and I don't have a lot of experience with these sorts of arcade sticks, or excuse me, arcade leverless handles, I don't know that I'm going to be able to give you guys really good critique here or feedback. I can tell you that I enjoyed playing it, and I think that's what matters the most. After using this thing quite a bit, I found that I was able to really kind of just get really good at Street Fighter and get some really good Hadouken moves off. Playing this on Tekken, of course, you know I'm a Tekken person, was really nice, so I really enjoyed playing this with Tekken, and then even just on some retro gaming. But let's load up some games and show you guys kind of like what it looks like as I'm playing this. All right, how about some Tekken, deadheads? And I can pull off most of my moves, even some moves that I had trouble pulling off with the D-pad. So this is PlayStation 2. This is running natively on Android through that Rock Chip 3588. So pretty impressive. I have this running at a 2x. I'm going to do some platforming with some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on PlayStation 2. Now, because this does have analog, I had to go in and set through the emulator the analog controls. So you may have to do a little adjustment. And that's the thing about any of these control setups and emulation, you always have to do a little bit. But as far as using this, you know, like a D-pad for analog newer generation games, it's possible. I don't think it's the best experience, you know. I don't know that I would use this to play this game, but it is possible. Just wanted to show you guys that that is possible to do it, and you can get it, you know, working to a decent experience. All right, deadheads. All right, deadheads. So again, I wish I'd had a better filming setup to show you guys I wanted to show you actually using this along with the screen. This is why we're a handheld channel, because I don't really have the ability to do proper filming, but as we grow and I invest into it, hopefully I'll actually get a place and a better setup in the future. Anyways, so what did I like about this? So coming from the perspective of a complete noob, I like the way this thing feels. I like the thickness of it. It's not super thick. It looks fancy. It looks fantastic. I like that you can take this off and underneath you could put any kind of design underneath it to make it look really fancy. I like the little OLED screen right here that gives you quick information as to what input mode it's using. I think the buttons feel nice. They're a really good size to me. Maybe, you know, a little bigger than maybe I would expect, but not in a bad way. The price is just amazing. I like the keys here, and it has, you know, just there's so much I like about this. Now, what do I not like about this? Well, again, this is not ideal for anything like a platformer. You're not going to use this for like a first-person shooter or something like that. So it does have specific case uses. But if we're talking about fighting games or vertical shooters or typical arcade games, retro games, this thing is great, man. It's a hitbox. I understand it now. I didn't understand it before. And I would encourage you guys, if you get an opportunity, to try one of these out, because you might just fall in love with it like I did. So again, we do have another unit coming to review. And so hopefully I can figure out a better setup to kind of show that one. But guys, please leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of this review. Dad Fred says, yeah, this is a buy. I say overall, this would be something worth buying. I am very impressed as a newcomer coming to this world of leverless arcade handhelds, I mean, arcade hitboxes. And, you know, if it can only get better than this, if this is flawed some way, I can't wait to see what an actual great unit would be. But anyways, guys, we'll look forward to seeing some more reviews in the future. Please leave a comment. We'll see you next time. Dad Fred out.